All right, guys, so here's what I had to present to you today. It is a writing tip review, so this is going to review all the things that we've talked about writing in our writing workshops. So take some good notes. You might want to even take some pictures of these screens so that you can remember later on. So here we go. So there are some grade killers for the To Kill a Mockingbird paper. One would be getting the book title wrong. Now, if you remember, I have taught To Kill a Mockingbird for 11 years, and 1 year I actually got the following as the title of our novel, How to Kill a Mockingbird. That is for sure a grade killer because that sounds like you read an instruction manual on how to shoot birds. Also, take a look at the second title, To Kill a Mockingbird. That's the correct title, but mockingbird is 2 words. So that's where the mistake comes in. Mockingbird is only 1 word. So getting the book title wrong is a certain grade killer. Also, not capitalizing proper nouns such as Maycomb or Scout or the Great Depression, and then capitalizing weird stuff like geraniums, flowers, and the word mockingbird. Inaccuracies will also kill your grade. Things like calling First Purchase Church the First Purchase and saying how rudely Judge Taylor speaks to Tom. It's not Judge Taylor who speaks rudely to Tom, it's Mr. Gilmer. So messing up plot details, not being accurate with names, those are all grade killers, as well as comma splices, run-ons, fragments, not providing a concluding sentence to your body paragraphs, MLA formatting mistakes. We've been working on MLA formatting for a long time. There's no reason to be making mistakes at this juncture. Forgetting about present tense, punctuating the title incorrectly, using first or second person pronouns, repeating examples, using contractions, and then not having your topic sentence as the first sentence of your body paragraphs. Those are all grade killers. So I would actually encourage you to take a picture of this slide and the one previous and do a special proofreading for these things so that when I read your paper, I don't raise eyebrows, or better yet, I don't pull out my revolver. Okay, let's talk a little bit about mechanics. Make sure you know that in formal writing, you're not to begin a sentence with a coordinate conjunction. You can do it all you want in informal writing, but formal writing, conjunctions are connectives, meaning they connect sentences together. So make sure in formal writing, you're using CCs as connectives. Also, just a reminder that you need to be punctuating parenthetical expressions. For example, the Yules, on the other hand, behave rudely. The Yules are, needless to say, a bad example of good work ethic. The Yules, of course, expect charity and take it readily. So punctuate your parentheticals. Let's talk a little bit about style. First, I want to talk about avoiding beginning every sentence the same way. So for some of you, I actually mentioned this on your Odyssey papers, that you needed to work on varying your sentence beginnings. So look at the following passage. Atticus reveals his humility in the Tim Johnson scene. He has the nickname One-Shot Finch for being an accurate marksman. Atticus, however, has kept this skill hidden from Jem and Scout because he does not want to boast about his talent. He cannot hide his ability with Tim Johnson, as the most reliable shot must take the dog down. Atticus uses his talent when duty calls. He shows his modesty, and it is his humility that makes Jem proud. So in that passage, I've highlighted in red the beginnings of each sentence. And if you notice, the sentences begin with either Atticus or the pronoun for Atticus, he. So every single sentence is beginning with the subject of the sentence, and it's the same subject over and over. This is what you want to avoid. So when you vary your sentence beginnings, you have some options. You can use single word modifiers, you can use phrases, you can use dependent clauses. For example, sadly, Mr. Yule spends his welfare check on alcohol. So that would be a single word modifier. That is an opening adverb. Hurling insults at Atticus, Mrs. Dubose hatefully expresses her racial prejudice. So hurling insults at Atticus is an opening participle phrase. An outcast of Maycomb, Dolphus Raymond pretends alcohol is his ruin. An outcast of Maycomb is an opening appositive phrase. Describing the sound of the ladies eating as bovine, Scout points out more of the irony at the missionary circle meeting. So again, we have a participle phrase opening this sentence. And then finally, with all the courage he can muster, Jim makes a dash for the Radley house. So that is an opening prepositional phrase. Now, some of you may look at that and say, but I see a subject and a verb, he can muster. And that is true, but that's an adjective clause modifying the word courage. So within your opening prepositional phrase, you have a dependent clause. But this is an example of some of the variety that you have. Now let's look back at that passage and put into practice some of these options. So here we go. Atticus reveals his humility in the Tim Johnson scene. Though he earned the nickname One-Shot Finch for being an accurate marksman, Atticus has kept this skill hidden from Jem and Scout because he does not want to boast about his talent. Unable to hide his ability with Tim Johnson, who is a threat to the neighborhood, Atticus uses his talent when duty calls. He shows his modesty, and it is his humility that makes Jem proud. So if you take a look at though he earned the nickname One-Shot Finch for being an accurate marksman, that is an opening dependent clause. Unable to hide his ability with Tim Johnson, that is an opening adjective appositive. So just varying those two sentence beginnings gives the passage more variety in style. So guys, you need to understand that I do a special proofreading for your style. So I go back and actually look at how you open each of your sentences. And on the Odyssey papers, some of you were opening every sentence with the word Odysseus or the pronoun for his name. So be aware of your sentence structure. Be aware of how you're opening your sentences and add variety because it is, after all, the spice of life. Okay, please stop the following sentence construction. Another reason why To Kill a Mockingbird is valuable for people to read is that it teaches moral lessons. The first moral lesson the book teaches is not to judge. So take a look at that passage. The problem in that passage is redundancy. Repetitive language. It's a book that teaches moral lessons. The first moral lesson the book teaches. You can so easily revise this sentence, keeping the same idea but using different language. Another reason why To Kill a Mockingbird is valuable for people to read is that it teaches moral lessons. One of the most important ones is to reserve judgment. Here's another example. The town itself has become like a character in the novel. One way the town itself is like a character is the personality it possesses. So again, you're able to see the redundancy, the repetitiveness in the language. Say it this way instead. The town itself has become like a character in the novel, meaning Maycomb has a personality. Another example. And I pulled all of these examples from students' papers in the past. So this is actually what students are doing, and it's actually what some of you are doing. So heads up on this. Contrasting the stereotypical ladies of Maycomb, Calpurnia is a non-stereotypical Southern lady. One way in which Calpurnia is depicted as a non-stereotypical Southern lady is that she practices what she preaches. It's easy to hear the repetitive nature of that language. Say it this way instead. Contrasting the stereotypical ladies of Macomb, Calpurnia is the example to follow. Many of the Macomb women are hypocritical, but Cal practices what she preaches. Finally, in the category of style, please avoid using the word thing. Make sure you're writing concretely. So Mrs. Stevens actually does not allow you to use any forms of the verb to be. So she's very stringent about concrete writing. For me, I just want you to avoid using the word thing. So make sure you're conscientious of writing with specific word choices. And I am going to stop part 1 on structure, and I will pick up part 2 with this topic.